Hi everyone, it's Az here from HeelvsBabyface. Yes, it's that time of the week again. Oh dear God. Where I delve into this week's episode of Loki, episode 5. Thankfully, there's only one more episode to go after this. So with that said, how was episode 5 as an overall before I deep dive? I gotta say it was much better. This was, and legitimately, this was a much better episode, in as much as it was better written. There were some better interactions with certain characters. And I say certain characters because, my God, there is some infuriating stuff in this as well. The writer, Tom Kaufman, as you can see at the bottom here, at least he's got a body of work behind his name. He does have a body of work behind his name, and it seemed to have, show in the structure of the actual writing elements of it. In the space of one episode, Richard E. Grant's Loki is the best Loki of all the Loki, and I'll hear no different. And unfortunately, because this is Loki, Tom Hiddleston once again is just an absolute buffoon in his own show. He is second fiddle to Sylvie. He can't stop thinking of Sylvie, talking about Sylvie, standing behind her because she's the dominant, praising her, all of it. It's insufferable. And no, in case people say, but he's falling in love. It's not romantic. It's nothing to do with that. He barely knows her. It's so contrived and daft. And so, yes. So there's stuff that I like, and there's stuff which is probably going to make me blow a gasket as per usual. Let's get to the beginning. So they do their catch up. Oh, where am I? You're in Weirdo World. So we get a shot from the TVA. Nice little camera angles, twisting and turning, yada, yada, yada. Going through various elements. Oh, we're down at the bottom. The timekeeper's heads are cut off. And then we go to this new Loki world. Yeah, graphically, it's cool. They have, put the work in the suture of the eye to make it all look nice and CG-y. So we have this kind of like destroyed world, buildings toppled over. It's higgledy-piggledy. And this is like a place that exists, I think, just before the end of time, or outside of the time thing. And that's where you go when you get prodded with the sticks. And then this Galactus / Parallax / whatever. Cloud comes along and eats you, devours you, and that's it. Then you're dead. So you see all these Nexus events that are around the place. This isn't like it was a proper world. These are all Nexus events which have been dumped down for this cloud to consume. So the Lokis, the multiple Lokis, which include Boy Loki, Black Loki, Alligator Loki, and Richard E. Grant Loki, say, come on, we got to get out of here before we get eaten by the big thing. Boo, 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 Loki, black, white Loki. This woman opens her mouth and is like, have you got a what dog for me? And other Loki says no. No, Loki is wanting an explanation of who the timekeepers are, who the time cop is. It's Jean-Claude Van Damme. And she doesn't know. She doesn't know anything. She actually wants to find out herself. So Female Loki's like, okay. So they chit-chat for a bit. This is the exposition dump of what happens when you get erased. Because she's like, what if Loki's not actually dead? So she tells them what happens when you stick the light on your titties and you vanish. And then she tries to strike up a deal with her. saying, hey, let's work together to try and find out who these space lizards are. Rich, is this the Enterprise? I think this is the Enterprise D from, I don't know. Or it could be from Rick and Morty or some shit. I don't know. So they're walking through Loki Land and trying to avoid the creature. There's chickens of some variety. Isn't that cool? Loki kind of gives a funny speech here, which I actually quite enjoyed, about the fact that he wasn't even shocked that there was an alligator there, which really kind of like upsets him. I did chuckle at that. I did actually think that was pretty funny, because he's just been through so much weird stuff in the last few days. So I was like, okay, you got a giggle out of me. It took 5 episodes, but you got a giggle out of me. Congrats. But then the kid just smacks him down and he becomes as, you know, as pathetic as normal. So they have a little hatch in the ground where they live. This is their little Loki Den. It's the kid who rules over them. He's the main Loki. Then we go back to the TVA where they're playing Fallout. They're playing Fallout 3, and the clock is trying to go through the records to try and find what's at the end of time, because apparently what's at the end of time is still to be written. So whereas the time stream goes along normally, inverted commas, at the end it kind of splits because it's not finished, it's not complete. She says that the space lizards are trying to build like a utopia or something at the end, and that's why it's taking its time. I don't know, whatever. So it's, you know, kind of like, oh, let's do this. Let's discover this mystery together. And then she betrays her immediately. She gets time cops in to try and arrest her. She's like, come on, we're going to arrest you. And then Sylvie's like, what can I do to get out of this situation? I'm stuck. So she's like, I know where those guys are. So I'm going to delete myself. I don't need no man to delete me. So she self-deletes so that she can go to the place that's outside of the golden timelines of Yor. And she can meet up with, I don't know, Patrick Swayze. Meanwhile, back at the Loki Ranch, alligator Loki jumps on people and bites them. Loki gives a speech about, hey, we gotta get out of here, we gotta do a thing, we gotta be the bestest Lokis that we can, let's not stick around here, guys. Motivation, and then they all just sit down and laugh at him. Let's just say we haven't quite got to the bits that I really enjoyed yet. Well, I didn't really enjoy, but we haven't quite got to the bit. I've just realized the only bit that I enjoyed is Richard E. Grant. Okay, just realized that. Okay. So, Loki tries to escape. Well, not escape, but he leaves the bunker, and then he's greeted with... Oh, he's greeted with his other Loki. So the Loki that has the helmet on, that has the Loki for president and all that kind of stuff on, that we thought, how's this crazy story going to unfold? It's not him. It's another DB Cooper bait and switch. Hey, you know this mystery that we thought Loki was going to get himself into to become president? It's not our Loki. Our Loki, if you want to find him, is the one in the drab suit. The drab TVA suit that at any time he can flick his fingers and turn into his wonderful regal Loki outfit. But he doesn't. For some reason, he doesn't. Why? Dunno. Maybe he likes his drab TVA suit. So, Vote for Loki, President Loki, infiltrates the bunker. Woman Loki arrives in a nest, and then when she escapes, the cloud comes after her, but she's too good, and she outruns it, and then a car out of nowhere drives down and saves her, and it's Luke Wilson inside. Hi, Luke Wilson. How you doing, Luke Wilson? How did you know female Loki was gonna be... Okay, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, folks. Don't worry about it. So, a vote for Loki is like, I'm gonna take over this place, and Black Loki's like, I let you in, so I become president, though, because I made a deal with you. I betrayed these other Loki, and I get to sit on the Loki throne. And he's just like, no, because even though you betrayed these Lokis, I betrayed you, Loki, with these people here, so I'm now going to be the president. And then they all turn their weapons on Loki, and they're like, no, we betrayed you, and we're all going to be president. We're all... I mean, I don't even know if these are meant to be Lokis, because there's another freaking woman Loki there as well. But some of these people have got horns, so I don't even know if these are just regular renegades. I'm assuming they're just regular renegades and not Lokis. But like, no, we've betrayed you, Loki, and what? We're all going to take turns sitting on the throne? I don't know. So a fight breaks out between all the Lokis, and it's okay. It's okay, you know, stuff that happens. Alligator Loki bites off and eats Vote for Loki's hand, and he screams. And then Richard E. Grant shows why he's the boss Loki. He creates a portal for them to escape. He's created illusions to fight. And I'm just like, holy shit. In the space of 60 seconds, Richard E. Grant's Loki has done more. His agency has been more than Puppy Loki for this whole series. And I ain't kidding. So I'm just suddenly like, I'm starting to really like Richard E. Grant Loki. He gets infinitely better as well. So they're like, bugger, you know, okay, we've kind of been compromised and whatnot. And now what? And I'm liking his outfit more and more, I gotta say. Every time I see it, I'm starting to like it more and more. The real old school Loki outfit. So so they have a chat about Sylvie. I'm not even joking either. They start talking about Sylvie and how she would have had a plan and sorted things out, and she's just amazing, and she wanted to tear down the TVA, and I'm just vomiting in my asshole right now. I'm just bending backwards and into my sphinctorial region. So Sylvie and Owen Wilson are driving around, and he doesn't say what everyone wants him to say. So they carry on walking and talking. The USS Elridge appears, which is the, if I'm not mistaken, is the ship commonly tied to the Philadelphia experiment, which was, I believe, a hoax. But the rumor is that the Americans in 1943-ish, or something like that, were trying to put a cloaking device on a vessel so it couldn't be seen, and it all went wrong, and you know, dimensions were breached or whatever, I don't know. So anyway, apparently so, because it lands here, and then they try and attack the cloud, which comes at them, and then the cloud just, you know, eats the ship in seconds, and they're like, oh dear, because we're trying to kill that. We want to kill it. Anywho, Owen Wilson just happens to find other Loki. Tom Hiddleston runs to Sylvie, like the love-struck puppy that he is. The other Lokis come along. Who are these? These are us. These are other Lokis. And he's like, what plan did you have, Loki? And he's like, we're going to kill the cloud. And she's like, kill it? That's stupid. When I was running away from it, I connected with it when I enchanted it. And we need to enchant it. This isn't who we need to kill. This is a guard dog. This is guard dog who's guarding what lies beyond time. And so we need to enchant the doggy so we can progress into level 3 of the video game. Meanwhile, back at the TVA, most exceptional woman of color decides to speak to woman of diverse size and color. And she talks about, you know, stuff. I kind of zoned out a bit. I really did. Exceptional woman of color then talks to Fallout 3's clock and tries to ask it to find everything it can discover about the beginning or the end of time. One of the two. Again, I was sort of, you know, falling asleep at this moment in time because I was like, come on. So they're all sat down, having a chit chat, sitting and talking, because Loki needs to sit outside with with Sylvie and tell Sylvie that she is amazing and that he misses her and loves her and he thinks she's just the bestest ever and she's got all the plans and he's got none of the plans and he conjures a blanket, conjures some fucking clothes. Conjures a blanket, then he puts the blanket around her. It's just like, hey, do you fancy, I don't know, after we've done all this, maybe flicking the bean of the universe together? She's like, maybe. So one of them's definitely getting killed in the last episode. Probably Tom Hiddleston. That's just my guess, anyway. So it goes on, and it goes on, and it goes on, and I you know, I was kind of like, eh. So now, okay, I know I said there was some stuff that I liked, and I know that I've said that I know I've only described like a little bit of stuff that I liked, but like I said, I just realized that the stuff I liked was just Richard E. Grant. It was just Richard E. Grant. Everything else actually was really boring, for the most part, even though it shouldn't have been. It should have been interesting. Yeah, Loki's just an insufferable pet. Being a pet of Sylvie is just, it's just, this isn't Loki. I can't see this as Loki. He has no distinguishing characteristics of Loki. So I'm just going to say this is a different timeline Loki, and Richard E. Grant is an older version of true Loki who somehow repaired his neck when Thanos crushed him to death. So they're like, right, we're going to go and tackle the big cloud. You go home. Oh, Sylvie's like, I'm going to enchant the cloud. Everyone go home, you know. And then other Loki's like, no, I'm your pet. I'm staying. I'm your pet, and I will stay with you to the end because you're my Quen. So they give the hoofa doofa to Owen Wilson, who's like, deuces then. And the other Loki's is like, no, we're not going back to the TVA and to a different timeline because this is our home. I would have had a bit of a complaint about this, but due to something that's going to happen later with Richard E. Grant, I'm like, okay, because you did the coolest shit in the world ever. So they say, what are you going to do when you go back to the TVA? And he says, I'm going to burn it to the ground. Boy Loki gives Man Loki a sword where he conjures up a scabbard to put it in. Why aren't you conjuring yourself up some decent clothes? Okay, because you've got to play second fiddle scrub to Sylvie. Gotcha. So they're right, let's do this. Let's go and defeat the cloud. The other Lokis wander off, and Owen Wilson goes into the time portal. So they're just like, oh, how are we going to be able to create a branch from this thing that's going to allow us to enchant it? And I ain't even joking here. In actual fact, I'm going to show it. Look. Tom, I'm gonna mute it. Tom Hiddleston's character moves from a position in front of Sylvie to hide behind Sylvie. Look at it. Keep on moving. Oh, oh no. Yeah, you get back there, you little bitch. You get back there. So he says, right, I'm gonna create a diversion so you can enchant it. So he runs off and then he starts waving his fire sword, going, hey, I'm over here. But it doesn't seem to be working really well. So what happens? Now? In the space of a single episode, Richard E. Grant goes to an absolute godhood Loki, and he suddenly builds, which I think is Asgard by the looks of it, builds an illusionary Asgard. And he's just doing it all on his own. And he's conjuring up all the towers, and he's doing the manacle face, and he's laughing, and he's freaking loving it, and he knows he's gonna die, and he doesn't care because he's doing it for all the right reasons. He's got a better story arc in this episode than Loki has in the whole series. So while our Loki is still hiding behind Sylvie and kissing her ass and playing second fiddle and being her pet, this guy's being an absolute legend. So the smoke cloud is trying to eat it, but he keeps like dissolving the buildings and rebuilding them, and he's losing his power because it's such a huge illusion to maintain. But he doesn't care. And then when he runs out of power, he just gets up and fucking laughs in the face of death. Ha 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 ha! This was awesome. And then the smoke cloud goes and eats him. And that was the most awesome thing of this show by a fucking country mile. And Richard E. Grant, I will buy the hot toy of your Loki. Fuck the others. I will buy the hot toy of your Loki because you're the man. And that enabled Sylvie and her dog to enchant the smoke cloud, which then opens up, and boom, we now see beyond time, and it's Hogwarts. And that was the episode. To be concluded next week. As I said, there were moments that I thought it should have been. It was much better written in general. But the Loki character is essentially broken. Our Loki, that is. When Richard E. Grant can come in one episode and dominate and show more Loki than our Loki has shown, you know there's something wrong. And there were events in the episode which I was watching thinking to myself, I should be excited about this, or I should be entertained by this, but it's not. It's just kind of washing over me. For some reason, maybe I've just seen it 1,000 times and I can't get excited anymore for stuff I've seen 1,000 times. But it was cool to see the little, again, the Richard E. Grant illusion, so they could fight and escape from the bunker. And then summoning up the illusionary Asgard was just... and capping it all off with laughing in the face of death. Bueno. So Richard E. Grant gets a 10 out of 10 for this week's Loki. No. Sorry. That's not fair. Richard E. Grant gets an 11 out of 10 for this week's Loki. The rest of the episode, better written, but intrinsically broken because the dynamic of Sylvie and Loki is absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. He is an absolute cuck in his own show. So, yeah, hope you enjoyed the vid. If you did, do give it a thumbs up and also subscribe to the channel. Follow me on social media and YouTube. Yeah, there. For live streaming. Links are in the description box down below. I'll be back with some more stuff very soon. You take care. Bye for now.